આજના દિવસે BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશન દ્વારા આયોજિત કાર્યક્રમમાં એકત્ર થયેલ ડોક્ટર ઇન્દ્રજીત પટેલ સર, ચેરમેન BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશન, વક્તા પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામી, વરિષ્ઠ સંત અને મોટિવેશનલ સ્પીકર BAPS સંસ્થા, શ્રી પ્રદીપભાઈ પટેલ, સેક્રેટરી BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશન, જોઈન્ટ સેક્રેટરી BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશન એવા શ્રી વિનોદ પંચાસરા સર, ડોક્ટર દીપક વ્યાસ, શ્રી નીતિનભાઈ પટેલ, ડોક્ટર કેયુ બ્રહ્મભટ્ટ, HOD IT ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ, સ્ટુડન્ટ કોઓર્ડિનેટર જૈની, ઈશાન અને જય તથા યુટ્યુબના માધ્યમ દ્વારા આજના પ્રવચનનો લાભ લેવા એકત્ર થયેલા સર્વેને BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશનના પ્રેસિડેન્ટ અને CVMના ચેરમેન એવા ભીખુભાઈ એન્જિનિયર ભીખુભાઈ પટેલ વતી આવકારતા હું સહર્ષ લાગણી અનુભવું છું. આપ સર્વને જય સ્વામિનારાયણ. BVM એન્જિનિયરિંગ કોલેજ તેના સ્થાપના દિન 14/6/1948 થી 8 દિન પર્યંત સમાજને પોતાના સુશિક્ષિત અને સંસ્કારયુક્ત વિદ્યાર્થીઓ દ્વારા અલંકૃત કરતી રહેલ છે. BVMના આ વિદ્યાર્થીઓએ પણ સમાજના દરેક ક્ષેત્રમાં પોતાનું આગવું પ્રદાન કરી સિદ્ધિના શિખરો સર કરી એક સીમાચિહ્ન પૂરું પાડેલ છે. પોતાની માતૃ સંસ્થા BVM એન્જિનિયરિંગ કોલેજ પ્રત્યે પોતાનું ઋણ ચૂકવવા આ વિદ્યાર્થીઓ દ્વારા BVM ભૂતપૂર્વ વિદ્યાર્થી સંઘ કહેતા BVM એલ્યુમિનિયમ એસોસિએશનની સ્થાપના કરવામાં આવેલી છે, જેના માધ્યમ દ્વારા અનેકવિધ એજ્યુકેશનલ અને મોટિવેશનલ કાર્યક્રમનું વિદ્યાર્થીઓ માટે આયોજન કરવામાં આવે છે. એ શ્રેણીમાં આજે આપણે એટીટ્યુડ ધ માસ્ટર કી વ્યાખ્યાનનો લાભ લેવાના છીએ. તો હું BVM એસોસિએશનના ચેરમેન અને BVM એન્જિનિયરિંગ કોલેજના પ્રિન્સિપાલ ડોક્ટર ઇન્દ્રજીત પટેલ સરને વિનંતી કરું કે સ્વાગત પ્રવચનનો તથા આજના વક્તા પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામીનો ટૂંકમાં પરિચય આપે અને એમનું આ કાર્યક્રમમાં અભિવાદન કરે. ડોક્ટર ઇન્દ્રજીત પટેલ.
સર્વેને સ્નેહભર્યા નમસ્કાર. પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામીજી, સાથી મિત્રો પ્રોફેસર પ્રદીપ પટેલ, શ્રી વિનોદ પંચાસરા, ડોક્ટર દીપક વ્યાસ, શ્રી નીતિનભાઈ પટેલ, ડોક્ટર કેયુર, ડોક્ટર નિલેશ, જયમીન અને ઈશાન સ્ટુડન્ટ કોઓર્ડિનેટર અને આ ડિજિટલ માધ્યમથી આ વક્તવ્યનો લાભ લેવા દેશ વિદેશમાંથી માતૃ સંસ્થા સાથે જોડાયેલ સર્વે અધ્યાપક મિત્રો, ભૂતપૂર્વ વિદ્યાર્થી મિત્રો અને હાલમાં અભ્યાસ કરતા સર્વે વાલા વિદ્યાર્થીઓ, સમગ્ર બિરલા વિશ્વકર્મા મહાવિદ્યાલય પરિવાર, બોર્ડ ઓફ ગવર્નર્સ અને ભૂતપૂર્વ વિદ્યાર્થી મંડળ વતી આ કાર્યક્રમમાં આપ સૌનું હાર્દિક સ્વાગત કરું છું અને આપ સૌનું અભિવાદન કરું છું. આપણે જાણીએ છીએ કે we are living in the era of invention, in the era of innovation, and 21st century is identified as an industrial revolution 4.0 as well as business revolution 4.0. A philosopher has rightly said, Sir William James, that a man can change his life by changing attitude of his mind. કહેતા કે મનુષ્ય પોતાના મનના વલણથી પોતાનું જીવનનું વહેણ બદલી શકે છે. જ્યારથી માનવ અને આ પૃથ્વી પર માનવ વસાહતનું ઉજાગર થયું ત્યારથી ઇતિહાસમાં અને અત્યારે પણ એવા ઘણા બધા દાખલા છે, ઉદાહરણ છે કે માણસ સાવ અતિ સામાન્ય કક્ષાએથી નાનામાં નાના પાયાના લેવલથી એ ઊંચામાં ઊંચા પદ સુધી, હોદ્દા સુધી પહોંચી શક્યા છે એની મનની ઈચ્છા શક્તિ અને હકારાત્મક અભિગમથી. અમેરિકાના પ્રમુખ જોન્સન, અમેરિકાના પ્રમુખ ફ્રેડ ટ્રુમેન, આઇઝનર હોવર એક સામાન્ય ખેડૂતનો દીકરો, લોહારની કુળમાં કામ કરતા અને વાળની દુકાનમાં કામ કરતા આ સામાન્ય અમેરિકાના પ્રમુખ બનીને વિશ્વ મહાસત્તાના પ્રમુખ બની અને સર્વોત્તમ ઊંચાઈ પર પહોંચ્યા. એક યુવક એક જ્યોતિષશાસ્ત્રને મળવા ગયા અને પૂછ્યું, મારા હાથમાં રેખા જુઓ અને વિદ્યા હું કેટલી ભણી શકીશ એ મને આપ બતાવો. જ્યોતિષીનો હાથ જોયો અને તિરસ્કારથી કહ્યું કે તારા હાથમાં વિદ્યાની રેખા જ નથી. એ વિદ્યાર્થી એ યુવક નાસીપાસ ન થયો. એણે પૂછ્યું, વિદ્યાની રેખા હથેળીમાં ક્યાં હોય? એટલે જ્યોતિષીને બતાવ્યું તો એ યુવકે ચપ્પુ લઈ અને પોતાની હથેળીમાં વિદ્યાની રેખા અંકિત કરી. એ વિદ્યાર્થી કોઈ નહીં પણ કે જેણે સંસ્કૃત ગ્રામર, સંસ્કૃત વ્યાકરણની આપને ભેટ આપી એવા મહાન શ્રી પાણીની. એટલે માણસ પોતાની ઈચ્છા શક્તિથી, પોતાના હકારાત્મક અભિગમથી કોઈ પણ નકારાત્મક પાસાનો સામનો કરી અને જીવનમાં પોતે ધારેલ ઊંચાઈઓનો સર કરી શકે છે. ઘણી વખત એવું કહેવાયું છે કે ડિટર્મિનેશન, ડિવોશન અને ડિસિપ્લિન, ધીસ છે ધ કી ઓફ ધ સક્સેસ. પણ આજની ફિલોસોફીમાં આપણે વાત કરીએ તો વી કેન સે ધેટ એ પોઝિટિવ ઇક્વલ ટુ 3D, વેર એ પોઝિટિવ ઇઝ a positive attitude of a person. This can raise you as an individual. This can uplift the society. This can uplift the corporate sector. And this can uplift the nation at large. આવા ઘણા બધા આપણે ઇતિહાસમાં ઉદાહરણો જાણ્યા છે, વાંચ્યા છે. તો આવા જ એક પ્રેરણાત્મક વક્તવ્યનું આજે આપણી સમક્ષ રજૂ કરવા માટે આપણા જ બિરલા વિશ્વકર્મા મહાવિદ્યાલયના ભૂતપૂર્વ વિદ્યાર્થી 1991 મિકેનિકલ બેચના પૂજ્ય જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામી આપણી વચ્ચે ઉપસ્થિત છે. તેઓ શ્રી ગ્રેજ્યુએશન બાદ 1992માં યોગી મહારાજ દ્વિશતાબ્દી મહોત્સવ વખતે બ્રહ્મ સ્વરૂપ પ્રમુખ સ્વામી મહારાજના હસ્તે ભાગવતી દીક્ષા લઈ અને BAPS સંસ્થામાં પોતાનું પ્રદાન આપવાની શરૂઆત કરી. 1992 થી 2016 સુધી પ્રમુખ સ્વામીને સાથે રહી એમણે સંસ્થામાં અનેક વિવિધ ક્ષેત્રોમાં પોતાની સેવા આપી છે. 2016 થી પ્રગટ બ્રહ્મ સ્વરૂપ મહાન સ્વામી સાથે પણ એક અદના સેવક તરીકે, BAPSના એક આગવા હરોળના સંત તરીકે તેઓ શ્રી પોતાની સેવા આપી રહી છે. આપણે લાસ્ટ ટાઈમ વાત કરી હતી 3A, આત્મદ્રુપ સ્વામી, આદર્શ જીવન સ્વામી અને અક્ષરવત્સલ સ્વામી, કે સમૈયા હોય, ઉત્સવ હોય તો એનું સભા સંચાલનનું કામ, ઉદ્ઘોષકનું કામ આ ત્રણ સંતોની ત્રિપુટી. એ જ રીતે એવી બીજી ત્રિપુટી બ્રહ્મવિહારી સ્વામી, જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામી અને અપૂર્વ મુનિ સ્વામી પોતાના અભ્યાસ, પોતાના જ્ઞાન, પોતાના અનુભવ અને પોતાની રજૂઆત કરવાની વ્યક્તિતાથી આજે તેઓ શ્રી સમાજમાં, સંપ્રદાયમાં, કોર્પોરેટ સેક્ટરમાં અને અનેક વિવિધ જગ્યાએ પોતાનું એક આગવી પ્રતિભા ઊભી કરી છે. પૂજ્ય જ્ઞાનવત્સલ સ્વામી પોતાના વિવિધ વક્તવ્યો એમણે 25,000 વધારે ફેમિલી સાથે ઇન્ટરેક્શન કર્યું છે. 30 જેટલા દેશોનો એમણે મુલાકાત લીધી છે. 15,000થી વધારે એમણે વક્તવ્ય રજૂ કર્યા છે અને 3 મિલિયન પીપલ સાથે એમણે ઇન્ટરેક્શન કરી અને વિવિધ ક્ષેત્રના 5,000થી વધારે લીડર્સ, એ રાજકીય ક્ષેત્રના હોય, સામાજિક ક્ષેત્રના હોય, ધાર્મિક ક્ષેત્રના હોય કે વ્યવહારિક ક્ષેત્રના હોય, તો એમની બહોળી પ્રતિભા ખરેખર માત્ર ભારતમાં નહીં, માત્ર સ્વામિનારાયણ સંપ્રદાયમાં નહીં, પણ સમગ્ર વિશ્વમાં એક આગવી ઓળખ છે. તેઓ પોતે શ્રી IQ, EQ, SQ, ટાઈમ મેનેજમેન્ટ, ફેમિલી મેનેજમેન્ટ, માય ફેમિલી, હેપી ફેમિલી, એથિક્સ ઇન પ્રોફેશન જેવા વિવિધ ટોપિક્સ પર પોતાના વક્તવ્યો આપેલા છે. તેઓ શ્રી DRDO, DRDL, IIM, વર્લ્ડ જીન ફેડરેશન, રિલાયન્સ ઇન્ડસ્ટ્રીઝ, EMA, IITs, then WIRC, IT એસોસિએશન, NOC, IMA, SMA, FETA, લાયન્સ ક્લબ, રોટરી ક્લબ જેવી વિવિધ સંસ્થાઓમાં પોતે આ વક્તવ્યો આપી અને સમાજ અને સંસ્થાની ઉત્કૃષ્ટ સેવા કરી રહ્યા છે. તો આજના દિવસે આપણે સૌ નસીબદાર છે કે આપણી સંસ્થાના ભૂતપૂર્વ વિદ્યાર્થી જ્યારે આપણને ધ એટીટ્યુડ માસ્ટર કી વિશે પોતાનું વક્તવ્ય આપે તો ખરેખર એ આપણા માટે એક આનંદ અને ગૌરવની વાત છે. અને એમના આ પ્રદાનથી તાજેતરમાં જ ગોવિંદ ગુરુ યુનિવર્સિટી ગુજરાત દ્વારા તેમને ડીલીટની માનદ ડિગ્રી એનાયત કરવામાં આવી એ ખરેખર આપણા સંપ્રદાય માટે, આપણી સંસ્થા માટે અને સમગ્ર દેશ માટે એક ગૌરવની લાગણી છે. સ્વામીજી, આપની સંસ્થામાં હાર્દિક સ્વાગત છે અને આપણે વિનંતી કરીએ કે આપની રસાળ શૈલીમાં આજના ટોપિક પર આપનું વક્તવ્ય રજૂ કરશો.
આભાર ડોક્ટર ઇન્દ્રજીત પટેલ સર. યુનાઇટેડ સ્ટેટ્સના 3rd પ્રેસિડેન્ટ એવા થોમસ જેફેર્સોનએ સાચું જ કીધું છે કે નથિંગ કેન સ્ટોપ ધ મેન વિથ ધ રાઇટ મેન્ટલ એટીટ્યુડ ફ્રોમ અચીવિંગ હિઝ ગોલ. નથિંગ ઓન અર્થ કેન હેલ્પ ધ મેન વિથ ધ રોંગ મેન્ટલ એટીટ્યુડ. અર્થાત હકારાત્મક અભિગમ વાળા માણસને પોતાનું લક્ષ્ય પ્રાપ્ત કરવામાં કોઈ પણ રોકી શકતું નથી ને પૃથ્વી પરનું કોઈ પણ માણસને નકારાત્મક અભિગમથી મદદ કરી શકતું નથી. તો આવો કેવો અભિગમ જીવનમાં લાવવાથી પોતાના ધ્યેય સિદ્ધ કરી શકાય અને માનસિક શાંતિનો અનુભવ કરી શકાય એ વિષય પર યોગ્ય માર્ગદર્શન આપણે વક્તા પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવાત્સલ સ્વામી પાસેથી માણીએ. રસાળ અને સરળ પ્રવચન શૈલી વડે સમાજના દરેક વયના વ્યક્તિના જીવનમાં ઉજાસ કરી દેવો એ એમનું આગવું વ્યક્તિત્વ છે. તો આપણે પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવાત્સલ સ્વામીને વિનંતી કરીએ કે એમની વાણીનો આપણને લાભ આપે. પૂજ્ય ડોક્ટર જ્ઞાનવાત્સલ સ્વામી.
With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagavan Swami Narayan and my Guru Hari, Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and Pragat Guru Hari, Param Pujya Mahant Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar. Jai Swami Narayan. To all the BVMites, past and present, and especially to the chairman of the Charotar Vidya Mandal, Engineer Shri Bhikhubhai Patel, principal of my college, BVM Shri Indrajit Bhai, because of whose efforts we are connected today, all the teaching and the non-teaching present staff, and of course, the wonderful and the great BVMites of Eva. As it is well said that once a BVMite, always a BVMite. And I like that phrase very much when I first read it. It makes you feel proud and it gets you connected, as referred by Shri Indrajit Bhai, with your mother organization, with the institute from where you have graduated, from there where you have been able to find your own self, from where you got the first step towards a success in your life. So once a BVMite, always a BVMite. And today we are talking something on that. And the topic of the talk today shared with me is attitude, the master key. Attitude means abhidam. Is the master key. We know a master key, that it can open all the locks. In the same way, attitude has the power that if you are less on talent, a bit less on academics, a bit less on experience, a bit less on know-hows, a bit less on platforms, a bit less on support systems, still with the right kind of attitude, with a high altitude attitude, with a pious attitude, you can still score. You can still succeed. That is the beauty, that is the sweetness of having a positive, a high, and a pious attitude in life. See, until the 1990s, there was always a thinking that if you have resources, you can work and you can grow. And ultimately, you can succeed. And resources you can count like family business or good academics or a good support system, good platforms. But after the 1990s, people started finding out, especially the business world, that sometimes people with lesser resources, they still manage to work well. They still manage to achieve small or big successes in life. So total change in the basic thought process came to an amendment. That how can sometimes people with the best of resources, or sometimes more of resources, can succeed less or sometimes even fail. And at the same moment, sometimes people with less resources or no resources, still they succeed, and sometimes they succeed very well. This was a big question in the minds of top class management gurus. So big research was conducted in this. One of the researchers, Jeff Keller, who spent about 14 years researching this particular aspect of life, he might have met more than about 3,000 successful people, more than about 2,000 plus less successful or failures in life, interviewed them, came to know well about their past, present, and from that he comes to a conclusion, and he writes a book. The title of the book is, I think I would suggest all of you to read this book. The title of the book is Attitude is Everything. When it was written, it became one of the best sellers on the New York Times list. It was there for many weeks. Today also it's a well-read book, especially in the corporate circles, professional circles, and perhaps more than 90% of the executives of the top class Fortune 500 companies would have read this book. Because this book basically gives you an insight into, a comfort into, that even if you have less of resources, don't worry. Even if you are less on resources, don't fall back. Don't accept failure. If you have the right kind of attitude, if you keep your attitude high, if you keep your attitude pious, even with less resources, you can definitely succeed. This book is into 3 phases. First phase is success begins in the head, so think right. Second phase is your words that you speak. It describes and shapes up your personality and character in the hearts and minds of people. So speak well and speak right. Third phase of the book is your actions bring results, so act now. These are the 3 phases of this book. I would suggest all my wonderful and dear BVMites to definitely read this book. It's worth reading and can change altogether the aspect and your attitude towards life, your attitude towards work, your attitude towards your social relationships, and altogether your attitude towards the happenings. So it is a wonderful book, that attitude is everything in life. And we have seen this. We have seen this time and again on many occasions in the lives and times of many people, that when they keep the right high attitude, they achieve success. What is the first kind of attitude that we all need to keep? And that first kind of attitude is the attitude of not accepting defeat in life. मैं वो नहीं हूं जो हार मान के बैठ जाऊं. मैं वो नहीं हूं जो अपने जीवन में कमजोरी को अधीन होके कुछ न करूं. मैं वो नहीं हूं कि अगर मेरे जीवन में निष्फलता आई तो मैं रोने लगूं. I am not the one who will accept defeat. I am not the one who will accept failure. I am not the one who will get bogged down and sit back. So the first and the foremost, the primary and the foundational attitude that one must keep in mind is the attitude of not accepting defeat in life. If you decide not to accept defeat in life, the wonderful slogan is, try one more time. Try one more time. Every time you fail, we've all seen spiders when they crawl up the wall. And if they fall many times. But the moment they touch the ground, the very next moment they start climbing again. That is called the attitude of try one more time. And that attitude never fails. The attitude of try one more time never fails. It is a wonderful attitude that can keep your spirits high. It is a wonderful attitude that can keep you on your heels. It is a wonderful attitude that has the power to keep you moving. The attitude of not accepting defeat in life. Come what may. Let me share you a wonderful example of a fine cricketer, Marwan Atapattu. You might have heard his name. He was a middle order batsman for the Sri Lankan team. His story is a source of inspiration for many a youth today. His story is written with golden letters on silver pages when it comes to instilling confidence and willpower in the hearts and minds of youth. Marwan Atapattu, he wonderfully performed, rather extraordinarily performed in the domestic circuit in Sri Lanka. And now he gets a national call, which is an elusive one and a dream for any cricketer, that I would play for my country. So he was supposed to tour with Sri Lanka. He was selected in the playing 11. The first international ball that he faces, and he's out. First innings, 0. Second innings, 0. He was benched. He experienced sadness. And anybody would experience sadness. Are yaar, ye kya ho gaya? Everybody feels that. He was not only benched, he was sent back to Sri Lanka. That he still needs more practice. His family consoled him. He said, no, I'll try again. He goes back to the domestic circuit, grills himself, shows well, good performance. But he, for 21 months, had to wait for the second call. For 21 months, he kept patience. This is called the attitude of not accepting defeat. After 21 months, again, he is touring with Sri Lanka in the playing 11. Again, first test of that tour. First innings, 0. Second innings, 1. Now imagine what could happen to a person. And the press back in Sri Lanka started writing that perhaps he fears international pace. Perhaps he lacks the quality to face international speed. Again, he was sent back to the country. Now his family tells him, let's see, we have a good family business. You have all the opportunities to join. You are still young, energetic. And more than that, Marwan Atapattu was a qualified chartered accountant. So his family also gave him the option that at the family office building, because they were a very good business family. So in the office building, we can always have your office space if you don't want to join the family business and start your practice as a chartered accountant. You have to decide. He said, no, I have decided to play for my country. I will do it. He goes back to the circuit and it trains him well. So first call, 0 and 0. Second call after 21 months, 0 and 1. Third call comes after 19 months. For 19 months, he was focused on his game. For 19 months, he put in everything that he had inside the game. For 19 months, he followed a very strict discipline regime. Again, first test on that tour, Marwan Atapattu, first innings 0, second innings 0. 6 consecutive failures in a span of more than 4.5 years. Now, do you think anybody would expect again to have a national call? He was again sent back, and unfortunately, all the 3 test matches that he failed in, all were outside the country. And every time he was sent back, and when he was sent back from the series, it's a big insult. This time there were press gallery at the airport picturing him. He had a hard time keeping a smile on his face. And you know what the press wrote? The press wrote that Marwan Atapattu is not a big match material. Marwan Atapattu fears international stage. He performs well at the domestic level, but he doesn't have that gut, that grit to face international players. Now his family was bent upon, his friends were bent upon him that you play cricket as a hobby, but start your practice as a chartered accountant? He said, no, I'm not the one who would accept defeat. He again goes to the domestic circuit. Again, he performs well. And with God's grace, he might be more fortunate that he got a call from the national side. And this time, he performs. And he scores a wonderful half century when actually the team needed. He cemented his place in the playing 11. He was in the top of the middle order. He scores more than 5,000 test runs for Sri Lanka. He scores 16 centuries for his country. He scores 6 double centuries and held together the Sri Lankan middle order for many years. This is the golden story and a platinum inspiration from the life of the great Sri Lankan middle order batsman Marwan Atmatu. So the first attitude that we must all have in mind is the attitude of not accepting defeat in our life. Failures are part of life. We learn a lot of things from failure. We even design the next course of action after failure. But we don't accept failure in our hearts and minds. No. We always use it as a stepping stone. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, the spiritual head of the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, who created this organization to this level, when he became the president of this organization in 1950 and the Guru in 1971, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha was a very small organization. There's very few saints and a few hundred devotees. From that, he grew this organization to a giant multinational NGO with a permanent seat in the United Nations as an NGO. In his lifespan, he created more than 1,200 institutes of hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, Sanskar Kendras, Sanskar Dham, community halls, mandirs, and Akshardhams. He initiated more than about 1,200 saints like us. And out of them, more than 750 of them are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors, and engineers. More than about 50 saints have studied in wonderful international institutions. More than about 150 saints in the organization are NRIs, born American and British citizens. And these times, in the 20th and 21st century, to bring such youth energy from mainstream society to mainstream social service and mainstream spirituality is a big achievement for any person. Pramukh Swami Maharaj did that. He himself traveled to more than 18,000 villages and towns in 60 countries, read and answered more than 7.5 lakh letters in his lifetime, at an unbelievable average of reading and answering more than 70 letters a day without a Sunday for 45 years. Pramukh Swami Maharaj personally visited more than 3.5 lakh homes, offices, shops, or factories to sanctify them, to culture the people there, to de-addict them, to teach them the moral, ethical, religious, and spiritual qualities in life. Tirelessly till the age of 95, Pramukh Swami Maharaj worked to uplift the society, uplift mankind in all walks of life. But he possessed this attitude. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, what we are talking about, possessed this attitude of never accepting defeat in life. Come what may. And the slogan we talked at the start of the talk, try one more time. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, he wanted to build a wonderful temple as per the wishes of his Guru Yogi Ji Maharaj in London. So the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha purchased a land at Harrow, a suburb in London. Now, whatever may be the reasons, but the people living in the neighborhood, they decided to file a case against BAPS saying that a mandir coming up here would disturb our peace and privacy. We said that that is not going to happen. You can come to India, our mandirs, they close down all activities by 9 p.m. and there would not be any ringing of the bells till 11 p.m. and 12 midnight, as you say. There's that. But still, the signature campaign in this neighborhood was carried out Definitely, they were locals. They got more signatures. We were outsiders, less, and whatever the proceedings. But finally, the outcome of the case was that BAPS lost the case. And it was a full and final judgment that BAPS cannot come up with a mandir there in Harrow. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was here in Baroda, from where I'm talking to you today. And when Pramukh Swami Maharaj was told on phone from London that Swamiji, we have lost the case by our chairman, Shri C.M. Patel then, and we would not be able to come up with the mandir there. The first response of Pramukh Swami Maharaj was, he said in his traditional Gujarati, Jevi Bhagwan ni Ichha. That means, let God's will prevail. So he stabilized himself. See, he showed how you can absorb shocks of life. Only if you enhance your capacity of absorbing the shocks of life, you can come up with this attitude of never accepting defeat in life. Secondly, he said, we tried our best. Now, whatever the outcome, we accepted. In his words in Gujarati, he said, આપણે આપણો પ્રયત્ન કરી લીધો. હવે જે પરિણામ આવ્યું એ આપણે સ્વીકારી લેવાનું. What an attitude. And third thing he said, see, I'm coming to the exact hit of the topic. Third thing he said, that we have all sat together and decided to come up with the project there. We will do it. Start searching from another land. Start searching another land, and we will come up with a mandir there. And it so happened, and in 1995, Pramukh Swami Maharaj inaugurated a wonderful stone-carved mandir in London, which at that time the Reader's Digest wrote that it is the 8th wonder of the world. Today it's one among the iconic buildings of London. So from such people, from such achievers, from such personalities, we learn the first important attitude of life, and that is the attitude of never accepting defeat in life. And if you keep that attitude, it is a very helping one. In a way that as a small plant gets a constant drip of water drop in its roots, time and again, to keep it green and fresh and growing, the same way, this attitude of not accepting defeat has the power to constantly energize you, to constantly inspire you. Second, the attitude of let's do. Now, this is a wonderful attitude. Let's do something. I will not sit idle. I'm not the one who just lay back and spend hours and hours in court or in sofa. I will make the optimum use of my time. I have just 70 or 80 years upon this earth. I will make the optimum use of time. The attitude of let's do and not waste time. Because time is more precious than money, than gold, and platinum, or any other precious thing than that. Because all those things can be achieved again when lost. Time, once gone, you don't achieve. You don't get it back. So the second attitude that I would like to share with all my dear BVMites is that keep the attitude of let's do something. Let's not sit idle. Let's not just waste our time or just spend our time. Let's do something. Let's do something. It's a wonderful attitude. Even if you're alone, you can still do some constructive activity. Even if you're in the midst of people, still you can keep doing something. There are people who make the optimum use of time. Pramukh Swami Maharaj was the one who always made the optimum use of time. I would suggest a wonderful book to all the delegates today in this webinar, written by one of the best-selling authors, Mr. Kevin Cruz. And the title of the book is 15 Secrets That Successful People Know About Time Management. It's a wonderful book. I suggest, it's the second book I'm suggesting in the webinar for all of you to read. 15 Secrets That Successful People Know About Time Management by none other than Kevin Cruz, in which he writes this, optimum use of time. Once Pramukh Swami Maharaj started from Dadar Swaminarayan Mandir in Mumbai to go to a dentist as per the appointment. He started reading the letters from the time the first wheel moved inside the Mandir campus to the campus of the dentist where it stopped. He must have read more than 17 to 18 letters. There the dentist said, Swamiji, just 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The patient prior to that needs a couple of extra treatments. Swamiji said, we are comfortable. Take your time. While waiting in the dentist room, Pramukh Swami still was reading the letters from the secretary, that a saint that he always used to carry the letters, because as I said, Pramukh Swami Maharaj had an input of more than 70 to 80 letters a day. People would write to him for their personal issues, family issues, social issues, business issues, and Pramukh Swami Maharaj would give them very clear answers to their questions and very clear pinpointing the direction that they need to move in. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, when the dentist called him, stands up from his chair, and while walking from the waiting area to the dentist chair, still he is reading the letter. While sitting on the dentist chair, he is still reading the letter. And at the last moment, he gives the letter to the saint, then adjusts in the dentist chair. Dentist starts the examination and thereafter the performances. Then Pramukh Swami Maharaj, in the midst of that, the dentist said, Swami, just about after 2 minutes, we'll again need to do another something. Pramukh Swami Maharaj immediately asks for the letter, reads it. In the midst of the treatment, see the optimum use of time. After the treatment, again, the moment he meets the dentist, he thanks him, offers him prasad, garlands him, and then when he leaves the dentist's place, sits in the car, again he starts reading the letter. Another 15, 17, 20 letters by the time he reaches Mandir at 12:30 p.m. Optimum use of time. If we sit in the car and go outside, we are just looking around from the front and the rear window and the side glass and everything, for people, for places, for trees and rivers and birds and sky and everything. Such people who are great achievers, they keep the attitude of let's do something, let's not be idle, let's keep ourselves engaged, and optimum use of time. See, since last about 1.5 years, we are all going through a very tough phase of our life, that is these Corona times. And we have seen what we perhaps did not see ever so far in our lives. And the first lockdown was put by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Bhai Modi. That was in the month of March last year. People working in far-off states from their hometowns, they rushed back. But some people who were working 3, 4, 5 states away from their home state could not go back. They could not find the connectivity. So they were stranded at those places. Some of them were students at IIT Mandi in Himachal Pradesh, that is Indian Institute of Technology Mandi at Himachal Pradesh. Even some professors and lab technicians and lecturers also got stranded. They were within one campus. Very next day, they came together that if we just sit idle, without any classes, without any tuitions, and with no exams nearby in the coming weeks, we'll just rust our minds. Let's do something. So this is the attitude of doing something. As I said, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, while in the car, would read letters. Let's do something. Let's not sit idle. And brainstorming session started, and somebody comes up with the idea that, see, in India, we have masks and PPEs and ventilators being made very less. India is importing at the moment. Can we make some N95 quality masks from a cheap material? Now, that was just floated in the brainstorming session. A couple of students picked up and said, this is a fine idea. We can do it. What material we should use? Again, discussions went on for hours and hours, 2 or 3 days. And somebody comes up with a suggestion that can we use the plastic of the waste water bottles, the mineral water that we drink and throw away this water bottles in dustbins. Can we use that plastic for making masks? And somebody said, are you a fool? You want to make masks, and that to quality N95 masks from plastic of a mineral water bottle? Come on now. From mask, people inhale oxygen. It is alive. And you make it from plastic? He said, why not? Let's do something. We'll put all our resources, academics, experience into it. And this was picked up well from the college building, from the administration building, from the hospital building, from all the dustbins. They picked up about 150, 200 bottles. And the chemistry lab was open because that was within one campus, so they could have some activity. Solutions were prepared. This plastic bottles dissolved. Experimentation started. In the next 2.5 months, these students could make, by dissolving these water bottles in the solutions, a nano non-woven membrane that can be used as a mask. They patented it, and it is a very cheap, affordable, yet N95 quality mask. And many people tried this in PPEs, in ventilators. So today, after 1 year, India is a very good exporter of masks, of PPEs and ventilators. What can't we not do? What can't we not do? If we decide to keep this attitude, let's do something. Let's not sit idle. If you have nothing to do, pick up a book and start reading. But do something. If you still not feel like doing it or reading, pick up a phone and chat with a friend, but a constructive one. But do something. I like a wonderful proverb that goes like, until I can run, I will run. When I can't run, I will walk. And when I can't walk, I will crawl, but I will not stop moving ahead. In the same way, we must keep this attitude of not stopping, of moving ahead. So the second attitude that we want to learn is the attitude of let's do something. Third big attitude, which is a fundamental one in the sense that if you want to achieve the exact, the better, and the high results of the first two attitudes, first is the attitude of not accepting defeat, and second is attitude of let's do something. Let's keep ourselves engaged. The fundamental third attitude is the attitude of discipline in life. You must be well disciplined. Your day, your week, it should be well disciplined. Normally, top class management guru says that 70% of the day is the same. You calculate, go through, have an introspection of your all working years. 70% of the time spent of the day, that is 70% of the day is the same. That requires discipline. And they say that a couple of habits, disciplined one, in the morning can set the tone of the day, can set the course of all the activities of the day. For example, as Bhagwan Swami says in the Shikshapatri, that one should rise before sunrise. If you keep this habit, then the first thing that you remember God, then you go through your morning course, do your puja, and then you're ready for the day's activities. So this is a small agna of Shikshapatri of Bhagwan Swami, which is the essence of all the scriptures. Starts your day wonderfully, sets the course of all the activities, and one by one, during the course of the time of the day, all your activities, the to-do list gets ticked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. So disciplined life is very much necessary, not just in the terms of time, in terms of activity, in terms of relationships, in terms of your work ethics, everywhere, discipline. With discipline, you are always a winner. Without discipline, you are always a loser. There is no second thought to this. Once the transport ministers of many countries, they came together to discuss the issues of traffic. This is a real incident. and maybe about more than 50, 60 transport ministers of various countries had come together at Geneva in Europe. The principal discussion on the first day, it was a 3-day session, was that what are the solutions to traffic jams? Each country would come up, that is a representative of this country would come up with the solution that they have tried to apply and the results that they have got, partial success that they have got, whatever, they would share. And then discussions would be carried out. So basically on the first day, they basically wanted a perfect, a good workable solution for traffic jams in metro cities and cities all over the country and all over the world. At that time, the transport minister of Italy, he comes up and says that, see, we have traffic lights in all the cities and towns of Italy. In Rome, people have the attitude of seeing these lights as traffic lights. So there the traffic is well disciplined. In Rome, it is traffic lights. And it is an order. People take it as an order. So we could manage there. But in the city of Naples, which is also a city in Italy, in the city of Naples, people have the attitude of seeing at the traffic lights as suggestions. And when you say it's a suggestion, you may or may not accept it, isn't it? You may or may not accept it. So they say that it is a suggestion. So, well, we have some traffic jams there and some very indisciplined behavior seen in peak time, rush hour. But in the city of Sicily, the mafia city in Italy, traffic lights are looked with an attitude of Christmas decorations. Amber, green, red, amber, green, red. They just don't obey it. So in Rome, it is instructions. In Naples, it is suggestion. And in Sicily, it is Christmas decoration. See, the lights were the same. The instructions were the same. The facilities were the same. The infrastructure was the same. But still, with the change and the difference in attitude in the minds of people, situations changed. So with all the best of system, without discipline, you will fail. With the best of infrastructure, without discipline, you will fail. With the best of support system and platforms, without discipline, you will fail. With the best of expert guidance, without discipline, you will fail. And on the other hand, with discipline, with less on all this, you still have a good chance to succeed, and you will succeed. So keep an attitude of discipline. You'll be surprised to know that Pramukh Swami Maharaj got a heart attack. He suffered a heart attack in the year of 1983, at the age of 63. Thereafter, doctors advised him for a 30-minute walk in the morning and in the evening. From 1983 till the year of 2011, till his age was 91. That means 17 and 11, that is about 28 years. For 28 years, Pramukh Swami Maharaj at sharp 6:40 a.m. in the morning would come out for his morning walk. If you are there for darshan, if it's 6:38, you always have that consolation that still there are 2 minutes left before Pramukh Swami Maharaj's first darshan would be available. And if it's 6:41 in your wristwatch, you have to feel and you accept it that, my God, Pramukh Swami Maharaj would have come into for his morning walk, and perhaps I would not find a space to sit, because people would come for his darshan. For 28 years, and that too from the age of 63 to 80 to 91, from the age of 63 to 91, when normally people lose their schedules, when normally people don't have a definite to-do list. At that time, right from the morning, from the first activity to start the day, so disciplined was Pramukh Swami Maharaj. that from the age of 63 to 91, sharp at 6:40 a.m., he would come for his morning walk, half an hour walk, 6:10, and then he would go for his morning course, his bath and everything. Exactly at 7:30, he would again come out for darshan at mandir and then his morning puja. Disciplined people, they achieve well. They score better. They catch heights. They soar to different heights. They score better and soar to heights. So an attitude of discipline that helps a lot. So the first was attitude of not accepting failure. Second was attitude of let's do something, not keeping ourselves idle. The third attitude is the attitude of discipline. And the last 5 minutes, I would like to share with you the attitude of faith, the attitude of devotion towards God. We accept that God is the all-doer. And if you ask me one-line definition of faith in God, it is that whatever has happened in my life so far, whatever is happening in my life at the moment, and whatever will happen in my life in the future, has happened so far, happening, and will happen with the wish of God. One step ahead of that, it happens for my good. And one step ahead of that, if I accept that, it will work for my all growth, progress, and success in life. The biggest problem in life comes when you don't accept the happenings in your life, when you don't accept the situations popping up in your life. You have to accept the happenings, the situations, and the circumstances that come a long way in your life, that props up in front of you. Acceptance reduces the tension. Acceptance has the power to dissolve the stress levels in your mind. Acceptance of that will give you the strength to face the situation better. We have seen that in the life of Pramukh Swami Maharaj and today in the life of Mahant Swami Maharaj. You would be surprised to know that since like about almost like 1 year and 4 months, from Mahant Swami Maharaj at this age of 88, he is there at a small village called Nenpur, at a place there, since last 15 to 16 months. He has comforted himself there, accepting that yes, the prevailing circumstances are the corona times, and we have to accept it and restrict our movement, restrict ourselves from activities that has the possibility of attracting the infection. So acceptance in life, and that acceptance comes fully, without grudges, without worries, without tensions, only and only if you accept that this happening is with the wish of God. Biggest problem with this 21st century people, and especially the millennials, why this happened with me? This shouldn't have happened. I didn't do anything wrong. Why did this happen to me? अरे भाई साहब नहीं होना था, हुआ, अब क्या करना है? रोना है क्या? It wasn't. Yes or no? So that attitude of accepting comes when you accept the will of God. Pramukh Swami Maharaj had this biggest strength in his life. If you ask me one question, that what was the biggest strength of Pramukh Swami Maharaj's life that he achieved so big in his life? And I tell you, corporate achievement is comparatively easy than NGO achievement. NGO achievement is comparatively easy than a religion-based NGO achievement. Why, you know? In your corporate structure, it is pay and smile relationship. Your boss pays you, that you like it, so there is a smile on your face. You pay the boss back in your good work. The boss likes your work, and so there is a smile on his face. So you are paying your boss in terms of work. Your boss is paying you in terms of money. So that it is called a pay and smile relationship. The moment one on the other side would not like the other one's work or pay, it's just fire. So in corporates, In commercial setups, it's pay and smile relationships. In the NGOs that we are working, it is serve and smile relationship, not pay and smile. Serve and smile. You have to serve whatever the agna, that is the commandment of our Guru. Today, Param Puja Mahan Swami Maharaj, he says that you stay at this place and do this seva. You accept it as an agna from him. You accept it as your sadhana. You accept it as the sole path of your spiritual enhancement. And see, then you start enjoying your life. So what I mean to say is, pay and smile relationship progress and success is easier than serve and smile relationship progress and success. Pramukh Swami Maharaj achieved success in this system, serve and smile system, which is the rarest of the rare achievement. But why he could do this? If you ask me the question, what was the single big strength of Pramukh Swami Maharaj in his life? And the answer to it is, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, in the every drop of his blood, believed that everything happens with the wish of God. And he would always say, Jevi Bhagwan ni Ichha. These words he might have spoken on time and again occasions, hundreds of times and thousands of times. Jevi Bhagwan ni Ichha. Bhagwan ni Ichha ti thai che. Bhagwan ni Ichha hase to thase. This word is worse. See, he worked 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. He never fell back from hard work. He never fell back from coming up with multitasking projects. At any given time, there were more than 5, 7, and 10 huge projects in BAPS going on. At the moment also it's going on. And Pramukh Swami Maharaj as the president and the final decision maker. Today, Mahan Swami Maharaj as the president, spiritual guru, and the final decision maker in BAPS takes care of everything. Gets surprised of everything. Gives decision in everything. So they are not the ones who would sit back and just say, oh, if it's the God's wish, then it will happen. No. 200% effort as a human being. But after that 200% effort, 201% belief that I have put my effort. Now, whatever the wish of God, I accept it. I end my talk with one good example. If you don't remember the entire talk, you can definitely put this one, store this one at one fine corner in your heart. It's going to help you at the times that you actually need it. Once Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in Vallabh Vidyanagar. And today we must remember Vallabh Vidyanagar because BVM, our college, is in Vallabh Vidyanagar. Once Pramukh Swami Maharaj was in Vallabh Vidyanagar, and Mr. Patel from Alumni Engineering Company, he came to meet Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He was the general manager there. I'm not talking of the owner, Mr. Prayas Vinbhai. One of his general managers, Mr. Natubai Patel. When Indrajit Bhai is nodding, so he knows Natubai Patel well. So Natubai Patel was a well-wisher. Every time when Pramukh Swami Maharaj would visit Vallabh Vidyanagar, he would definitely come for his darshan and blessings. Once Natubai Patel said, Swami, I've seen you, rather observed you since last a couple of decades, whenever you would come to Anand and Vidyanagar or the surrounding areas. I've seen you in all the activities of the day. I've seen you performing your morning puja. I've seen you having your morning walk. I've seen you in your meals. I've seen you talking on telephone with somebody. I've seen you writing letters. I've seen you sitting in discussions with people. I've seen you in administrative meetings. But never on any occasion I have seen a wrinkle of stress on your face. Never on ever occasion I have seen a single wrinkle of tiredness on your face. Why? And I am a general manager of Alumni Engineering Company. Definitely I have a workload, but not all the burden after I leave my office at 6 p.m. All the burden definitely the owners carry it. And it is obvious. I'm an employee. So after 6 p.m., that burden comes down to just 10%. But he very innocently, faithfully, in an open-hearted with an open heart, he said that, Swami, if we don't have a couple of pegs in the evening, it's difficult for us to sleep at night. And how can you, I see you in the morning, you're so fresh with a beautiful sleep, deep sleep at night. And you carry the burden, so much load of an organization, and so many young youths, there is so many youths, they have left aside their careers, their families, and come to you. So you have an emotional responsibility of all the saints. And that is true. If you have a daughter and she is like 26 and 27 and 28 and goes to 30 years and she's still a bachelor, for you as a parent, it's a constantly ticking thorn in your mind, isn't it? That as a parent, I must now settle her as fast as possible in her social life. And you Pramukh Swami, you have 400, 500 saints who come to you now to carry them with you and to give them ultimate satisfaction of life till the last breath of their life. It is your responsibility. All this, Natubai told Pramukh Swami Maharaj, Swamiji, how are you carrying the day? Pramukh Swami Maharaj said a beautiful thing. Pramukh Swami Maharaj said that in the morning, that when we wake up, we pray to God and take from Him all the activities and work that we need to do during the whole day. Then we perform all the activities and the work to the utmost resources that we have. And in the evening, we give that work back at the feet of Bhagavan Swaminarayan and our Guru Yogi Ji Maharaj. That see, I perform all the activities and the work to the best of my knowledge and resources. Now, whatever result you want to give, you give, I will accept it. This is the ultimate attitude of remaining happy. This is called work-life balance. This is called a perfect human life. No stress and no tension. Work, putting resources, 200% energy, but 201% acceptance of God's wish. This is the attitude. So this few attitudes I shared with you all today. It's not new to you, I know. You know this well, you understand this well, but today, on this occasion, we reinforce in our hearts, you and me both, this attitude more, so then not just we can be better professionals, but we can be wonderful human beings, because we need to have all the three roles in life: a smart professional, a great human being, and an ideal devotee of God. All three roles to be played in this single human life. This attitudes will help you do this. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me. All my prayers for all of you, my dear fellow engineers from BVM, my seniors and my juniors, for all of you, that may these attitudes work at their best in your and our lives, and let us, at the end of our life, be able to put our hand on our chest and tell ourselves, yes, I lived my life. Thank you very much, and Jai Swaminarayan.
Jai Swaminarayan.
જય સ્વામિનારાયણ. પૂજ્ય જ્ઞાનવંત સ્વામીનો ખાસ આભાર કે એમને એમના પ્રવચન દ્વારા જીવનમાં કેવો અભિગમ રાખવાથી માનસિક શાંતિ, જીવનના ઉચ્ચ ધ્યેયો અને પોતાના કાર્યક્ષેત્રમાં સફળતા પ્રાપ્ત કરી શકાય એ વિશેનો માર્ગ બતાવ્યો. એમણે આપણને 4 એટીટ્યુડ, કહેતા કે એટીટ્યુડ ફોર નોટ એક્સેપ્ટિંગ ડિફેક્ટ, ફોર લેટ્સ ડુ સમથિંગ, એટીટ્યુડ ઓફ ડિસિપ્લિન એન્ડ એટીટ્યુડ ઓફ ફેથ દ્વારા આપણને જીવનમાં કેવી રીતે હકારાત્મક વલણ અને કોઈ પણ કાર્યમાં કેવી રીતે અભિગમ રાખવાથી આપણે આગળ આવી શકીએ એ વિષય ખૂબ જ સારા દૃષ્ટાંતો દ્વારા આપણને સમજૂતી આપી એ બદલ પૂજ્ય જ્ઞાન વત્સલ સ્વામીનો આભાર. હવે કાર્યક્રમના અંત ભાગમાં BVM એલ્યુમિની એસોસિએશનના સેક્રેટરી એવા પ્રદીપભાઈને હું વિનંતી કરું કે એ આભાર વિધિ કરે. શ્રી પ્રદીપભાઈ.
Thank you, Nivelbhai. Pranam, Swamiji.
Pranam, pranam.
Ram Ram, Jai Swaminarayan, Hare Krishna.
Ram, ram, yes.
Very good evening to one and all who have joined on this virtual program from all over the world. Pujya, Param Pujya, Dr. GyanVatsal, Pujya GyanVatsal Swamiji, Indrajit Bhai, Deepak Bhai, Nitinbhai, Keyurubhai, Nileshbhai, and our student team. I, on behalf of entire BVM fraternity, would like to express my heartfelt and sincere gratitude to your Swamiji, our own alumni of Mechanical 91, for such a wonderful event. Swamiji, I am your staunch devotee. I keep on following all your programs and I'm your great fan. Today, all the BVMites are really honored, and I am so fortunate that I have a privilege to cast a vote of thanks in this historic milestone to have divine darshan of Pujya Swamiji, and it's our wish that you please come down once to BVM so we have your divine blessings to the entire campus. So we are really extremely thankful to Pujya Swamiji for sparing his valuable time and giving all the live examples supporting his philosophy of attitude, the master key. And I would say it's not only the master key, it's the golden key. And after hearing you today, we will try to implement those keys to bring that smiles on our face, sir. Thank you. My sincere thanks to Dr. Indrajit Bhai for initiating such an excellent talk. And today, it is because of you that we have the divine darshan of Pujya Swamiji. From this platform, I would like to express my sincere thanks to all the viewers, all of the executive members, joint secretaries, and the EC members. My sincere thanks to Keyurubhai and his team, Nileshbhai Prajapati and the students who have worked very hard for this successful program. Thank you so much. Jai Swaminarayan Swamiji.
Yes, Swami Pradeep Bhai. Yes, Swami.
Jai Swaminarayan.
આભાર શ્રી પ્રદીપભાઈ. શ્રવણ, મનન અને નિધિધ્યાસ કહેતા કે આપણે જે સાંભળ્યું એનું સતત મનન કરી અને જીવનમાં ચિત્તારત કરીએ એને નિધિધ્યાસ કહેવાય. તો આપણે આજે જે પણ હકારાત્મક અભિગમ વિશે સ્વામીશ્રી પાસેથી જે સાંભળ્યું એ પ્રમાણે આપણે આપણા કાર્યોમાં આપણું પૂરતો પુરુષ પ્રયત્ન કરી ભગવાનમાં પૂર્ણ શ્રદ્ધા રાખી આપણા જીવનના કાર્યો કરી અને એમાં આપણે આપણા ઉચ્ચ ધ્યેય સિદ્ધ પ્રાપ્ત કરી શકે એ જ ભગવાનને પ્રાર્થના. અહીં આ કાર્યક્રમનું સમાપન થાય છે. સર્વને